Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is these two books. Okay? We're going to start with Fourth Wing, which is the first one in the series. They are by Rebecca Yarros. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This book is about Violet, okay? And Violet Surringale is supposed to become a scribe. This is something you learn within like the first chapter of the book. You can either be a scribe, you could be a healer, or you could be a rider. And like 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't remember how long ago, her mom decided that Violet being a scribe wasn't a good idea anyways, even though she's been training for it her entire life. And she's really into being a scribe as well. From what you gather, she really likes it. Her dad was a scribe, and this is what she wants to do. She wants to protect the history, which is what the scribes basically do. But anyways, her mom tells her to be a rider, so as it says on the cover, ride or die. And there are several books, so you kind of know. Well, it says fly or die. Sorry, but yeah, there are several books, so you kind of already know what she ends up doing in this one, at least. You get to meet several characters. One of the things that I usually have a problem with in fantasy books is remembering all of the names. I remember Saden because he's like the main male character, and he is also something else. He's also a lot of people's favorite book boyfriend, but we'll get back to that a little later in the video. Without telling you exactly what happens in this book, I feel like the book is a little bit too long for my liking. I don't usually read fantasy, or at least I don't usually read this type of fantasy. I'm usually more on the Twilight aspect of it, Vampire Diaries aspect of it, vampires, werewolves, maybe throw in a few witches, very into that. This is more on the other end of the scale, there's dragons, there's a different type of fighting, there's flight leather. No, fighting leather. Flight leather with. Wait, is that something as well? I think that's something as well. Fight and flight. Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. They have a flight. I don't know. Anyways, this has fighting leather. So it's a different kind of book than what I usually read. But I saw so many rave about it. My friends raved about it. They were like, it's so good. It's amazing, it's top tier. It's the best that's out there at the moment. You have to read it. And I did. And this one I actually gave 4 stars. I think it was an okay read. It was a little bit long for me. I didn't really see why I had to know kind of when they were bored, because that's what it felt like. There were dialogue and like they were telling you everything that happened when it happened, yada yada yada, all of that stuff. But for me it just felt like a page filler, when you need to add extra words to an essay because you're missing like 50 words, so you just add random words to your essay. That's kind of what it felt like to me, but it definitely will not do that for other people. Other people will be like, oh, well, I need all of this context. I need to know everything about everyone in this book. I need to know about her best friend. I need to know about her mom. I need to know about her dad. I need to know about her sister. I need to know about everybody else in her family. Like, what does her cousin like for dinner? Like, that's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. But I ended up rating this one 4 stars. It had some aspects that really surprised me, like the ending really surprised me. I did not see that coming at all. There were something that happens a little early in the book during a fight scene that have really, really surprised me and actually made me cry a little. Like I shed a few tears because I did not agree. Like that did not have to happen. Like shame on you, Rebecca. That did not have to happen, okay? I also, in a way, as in most of these, because this is It's fantasy. It's a little spice in it. I don't really like Violet and Satan together, and I didn't really know why in this book. I didn't feel it. I felt like there was something missing. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I did understand it when I started this one. Okay. I didn't read this one. I listened to it as a graphic audiobook. So it was with, a full cast. Like every person in this book is done by a different voice actor. There are voices in the background, so when they're walking, like I can hear if they're walking in up the stairs, or if they're running down a hallway. And that made the book way more interesting to me. It kind of helped my mind go where it needed to go to enjoy the book until it didn't. I think at some point it may have been a disadvantage because this is 623 pages long. Yeah, 623 pages long. I was so bored at the end. Like, by the time something happened that you are supposed to find exciting, I didn't find it exciting anymore. And I am so sorry. I know this is a lot of people's favorite book. I was just a little lost. They started saying something, and I started, singing in my head. Kind of like if I say, I'm looking for, a lot of people finish it, a man in finance. That's what happened in this book. I think that would not happen if I read it because I would be concentrating on reading and not listening. But I kept on dozing off and being like, my brain went somewhere else, and then I had to go back to the book. And yesterday I had 2 hours left of the audiobook. Even speed up my audiobooks. I was listening at 1.25 because I felt like the ambient noises were a little distracting when I listened to it faster. And I couldn't finish it. I got distracted. I started making a playlist instead of music for when I'm gonna go work out. I finished it today, like an hour ago. And by the end, I had started to speed it up to 1.4 because I just wanted it to end. I wanted to, get through it and get it over and done with. The parts that were supposed to make me feel something, which was supposed to kind of tug at my heartstrings and stuff like that, they just made me go, okay, I get it. Let's move on, because I didn't feel connected to the characters. I felt way less connected to the main character in this one than what I did in the other one. In the other one, I felt like she was a little bit more. I felt like she was a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? In this one, I felt like she was a little bit more humble, trying to find her footing, trying to figure out who she was in this world. And in this one, she was just like, yeah, I'm a badass. That's what I am. I am a badass, and because I have the training that I have from when I was younger, I'm also very smart, which she is. She's a very smart young lady. That made me sound very old. She's a very smart person. I couldn't really connect to her. I had a few problems with her relationship as well. Not that he's a bad dude. I don't have anything to say about him, as a person per se. But I felt like a lot of the times when stuff came up in their relationship, Violet was trying to handle it as an adult. She was like, oh yeah, he lived before he met me, and I have history that he doesn't know about, and so on and so forth, which is fine. That's a healthy thing to do in a relationship. I don't want it in my books, though. In my books, I want you to be envious. I want you to be a little bit, angry. I want you also to have very hot, spicy makeup, horizontal dancing to make it a little bit more interesting, because now it just ended up with them not communicating at all, which ends up also being a little theme through one of the chapters in the book, the fact that none of them actually really ask any questions, at least not any of the hard questions. I just And when they finally did, it was very anticlimactic. It was extremely. I was already done. I was not invested in their relationship anymore. And I kind of got irritated at him as well because he was like, "Oh, you need to ask the questions and I will tell you everything." And I'm like, "Dude, just open up your fucking mouth. If there's something she needs to know, just open up your fucking gap and tell her, you know? Do not do not just sit on it and be like, well, it's your fault because you didn't ask me any questions." I've rated this 3 stars, and I feel like that's me being nice. Both of the books, like both of them, end on a cliffhanger. I don't feel like I have to read the next one. I probably will because I'm an idiot. I'm not going to run to the store and get it like the day it comes out just because I have to know what happened. I'm probably going to go run to the store because I think they look very pretty and they look very pretty on my shelf, but that's a different problem. That's a me problem, okay? I also don't like it when books have ugly covers because then I don't want them on my shelf. But that's the conversation for a different day. But yeah, there's going to be 5 books in this series. I don't really see how they are going to keep the main character likable because that was my main problem. I didn't feel like she was that likable in this one. In the first one, I felt like she was trying to find her footing. I felt like she was a little bit more humble. In this one, yeah, badass, you know. I do whatever I feel like. No, well, she doesn't. She doesn't do whatever she feels like. She actually follows command. But she kind of knows how important she is, and she's not afraid to tell anybody. And for some people, that might be like, yeah, okay, she's such a badass, you know, kick ass, you know, she's a lady that just takes charge and doesn't take shit from anyone, which is, yeah, she does, and it's good. But also, you know, sit down, bitch, be humble. Because you're dating the dude that you're dating, you don't have to be a bitch. I mean, she kind of has to be a bitch, doesn't she? They are trying to save the world. Well, at least the country they live in, and civilians, which is kind of actually really nice as well. I hope you guys understand that her character development wasn't necessarily to my liking, which is fine. Okay, I'm not saying that it has to be. Not every book can be, you know, my cup of tea. That's completely fine. I'm just not as engaged as the rest of the world, which is sad because I did actually really like the first book. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very nice. And the fact that the second one is longer and it was even hard for me to finish as an audiobook. I think that says a lot about how like lack of investment I had in this book in the end. I just want to say at the end of this video that if you like fantasy, that type of fantasy with like dragons and a main female character that ends up kind of taking charge and taking over and just, you know, is being a badass because she is a badass, don't get me wrong. I think this is going to be a perfect series for you. If you're also looking for something that has bad communication, I think this book is for you. Okay? Communication is not the strong suit of anyone in this book, I think. Maybe her best friend. Her best friend tries to communicate, but she's not good at communicating with her best friend. Which I understand when you know, when you read the book you will understand why. But I feel like her best friend is the only one that actually did at least do an attempt at communicating. But yeah, please tell me what you think about the books down in the comment section. Are these your favorite books of the year, maybe? Maybe this is like all you want to read and you can't wait for next storm. How do you also feel about there being 5 books and not 3, as I thought it was going to be? First off, I don't really see how the story is going to keep on going for 3 more books. I feel like the way that it's built up right now, it can end very, very extremely good, but I don't see that going on in 3 more books. I can see it going on in 1 more book, not 3. But yeah, tell me what you think about them in the comment section. Please don't, you know, be mean. If this is your favorite books, that's completely fine. If you feel like there's something I forgot to mention, please also put that in the comment section, okay? I am only human. And I haven't made many of these videos. So I'm trying at least. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys also enjoy the books. And I will see you all in the next one.